Just a little history of the family. Hello and good evening, everybody. I am Charles Roberts, the eldest living member of the Roberts clan. Clan actually that's an appropriate description which was originated by Ferdy Roberts, which means a family holding much together. However, the reunion has much to thank one particular member of the family who sadly is not here with us tonight, and that is our beloved Alan Capps.
Yeah.
Our thanks, however, go out to his wonderful wife Susan and their family.
Yeah.
Put your hands together, please. Susan and their family. It was at my wife Agnes's wake, almost 2 years ago, when a lot of the family were together, that Alan suggested it would be a wonderful idea to have a family reunion on the farm. Tents would be pitched, barbecues and spits doing justice to my sheep. And the party would go on for 3 days. That was the original suggestion of Alan Capps. After Alan's demise, it was Kenny and JR, Johnny Roberts, who were willing to put the wheels of Alan's suggestion into motion. And here we are today enjoying the fruits of their hard work. Let us put our hands together for Alan, Kenny, Johnny, and all who helped to give us this Roberts reunion. Most of us today owe our heritage to two lovely men and their wives, James and Ellen Roberts, Joseph and Mary, my father and mother, my grandfather and grandmother. I was fortunate to have been just old enough to have a very good relationship with them. James Roberts was born in Jhansi, in a small railway town, in 1853, and later worked as a male guard. James and Ellen had 3 children. My father Joseph, which was the eldest, born on the 4th of February 1894. The 2 younger ones were Maud and Florence. Maud married Eddie Hoyle and Florence married George Simpkins. My grandfather James, who was living in Jhansi, never ever came to visit us in Bissau and sadly passed away in 1932 at the age of 79. Although I was only 9 years old at the time, I do have a vivid recollection of him. He was a tall and well-built gentleman with a large white moustache which he curled at both ends, and he smoked a long pipe. It was my grandmother Ellen who spent a lot of time with us while they were growing up, and she had a habit of calling us kids strange names like Laddu and Barfi and Pera and all the Indian sweets you could put the names to. She was very kind and gentle, and incidentally, she was married as a child bride at the age of 14. She had a very, very simple life and very forgetful, and a habit of stealing the girls' ribbons, rolling them up and putting them away in a case, which made the girls cry and fight with her. She passed away sadly in Jhansi in 1936. My father, Joseph Ethelbert Roberts, was incidentally in someone here's grandfather, great-grandfather, or great-great-grandfather, and was the sweetest, kindest gentleman, giant, that the Roberts reunion is all about. Why do I say giant? That is what he was, 6'4" tall, 17 stone, upright and built like a giant, but as gentle as a lamb. I was once a witness to the courage and power which one of our neighbors, Mr. Bardiji, a Parsi gentleman, was being stabbed several times, and Mr. Parr, my father, without regards for his own life, overpowered the man and who was later imprisoned. Joseph Roberts had a simple life, and I remembered he loved to play cards and regularly attended whist drives. After the death of my brother Ferdinand on the 14th of April 1944, my father had no will to live, and having retired 4 years earlier, passed away in 1945 at the age of 51. Mary Josephine, my mother, sadly had little or no education, having been involved in the circus from the tender age of 18 years. She was a gifted musician and played the piano, reading music by first sight. Her earliest performance was at the age of 10, when the circus was touring London. She played at the Royal Performance in Shepherd's Bush. She had a voice like an angel and was trained to be an opera singer. One of her famous opera songs, as I could remember as a little boy, was Thora. She joined the circus parade at the age of 3 and later went on to be a trapeze artist on the high wire. When she was 17 years old, one of her performances including holding a billiard cue with both hands and setting a challenge to any man to shift the cue from our group. It was not until she was 18 years old when a tall, dark, handsome man named Joseph Ethelbert Roberts came along did she willingly surrender the cue. That meant the end of the circus for my grandfather, Charles Joseph Doyle, and the beginning of a new life for Mary. Joseph Roberts and Mary Doyle were married on the 13th of November 1918. The life of Mary, my mother, was a very difficult but a very happy one. I mention difficult for the fact that from 1919 to 1941, that is a span of 22 years, she was never ever not pregnant.
Sad.
Sadly, 7 years after, in 1948, when her youngest child, Edel, was 7 years old, she passed away at the tender age of 48. Mary Roberts was the kindest, loving wife and mother God put breath into. She showed her kindness by sending her servant every Sunday to bring all the beggars from the marketplace, and she fed them. She finally gave, not expecting anything in return. And from photographs available, it is clearly evident that the children were well fed and well dressed. In conclusion, may I mention that at 88 years of old, I am the happiest man alive. Having 4 wonderful children, 13 grandchildren, and 13 great-grandchildren, and 2 on the way. My eldest daughter, Brenda, was unable to attend and send her good wishes and God's blessing on the Roberts reunion. Good night and God bless.